Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the York series. Sitting within North Yorkshire, York is a very historic place with 31 civil parishes within its city boundaries. Here's one of them for your enjoyment. Welcome back to York, everybody. Now today I'm in a place that's definitely for the railway enthusiasts, and you'll see what I mean as we take a trip around Murton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to Murton, a small village to the east of York, located close to the A64 and the larger village of Osbaldwick. Murton has around 100 properties, ranging from traditional large country houses to more modern buildings. It used to have a pub called the Bay Horse, which has now closed down. Historically part of the North Riding of Yorkshire until 1974, Murton was then a part of the district of Ryedale until 1996, before becoming part of the city of York. Its largest and most well-known landmark is Murton Park, which houses the Yorkshire Museum of Farming. Like neighbouring Holtby, Murton stands on a glacial moraine, raised ground once surrounded by marshland. There's been a settlement here for 1,000 years or more, and Murton has changed its name a few times over the centuries. It was recorded as Morton in the Domesday Book, a name that's been spelt various ways. There are 6 Murtons in the UK, and the name simply means town on the moor. Murton has never been an estate village, nor has it ever had a manor house. It's always been a farming community, and many of the businesses in Murton are still related to agriculture. In the early 19th century, Murton became a significant centre for the breeding and training of racehorses, thanks to notorious gambler Robert Ryedale. Oh, and let's not forget the railway as well. This is a very interesting one. Let's go. We start this short walk around Murton at the Church of St James on Murton Way. The church was built in about 1200 as a simple rectangular structure of limestone. It served as a chapel of ease to St Thomas's Church at nearby Osbaldwick. The church was Grade 2 listed in 1953. In the 19th century, it was unclear who was responsible for its upkeep. When the roof was badly damaged in a storm in 1834, it was not repaired and the chapel became a ruin. For a period, it served as a pigsty. However, since then it's been restored. The north and east walls were rebuilt with a new window each, a new tiled roof was added, topped by a bellcote. You might have noticed a font outside in the churchyard. In about 1950, a new font was installed here, believed to date from the 12th century. It was found in the churchyard of St Thomas in Osbaldwick. A small brick-built extension was added here in 2016, providing a welcome lobby, toilet and kitchen. So that new porch you've seen just outside there's a plaque on this wall which explains it. To mark the centenary of the rebuilding of this church by our forebears, the new porch and other works were undertaken for the benefit of the whole community and in recognition of all those who have worshipped in and cared for our church over 800 years. July 2016. So there you go. Our next stop is an old Wesleyan Methodist chapel which was built in 1862. This has now been converted into a dwelling. Directly opposite the chapel there's a bus stop. Murton is served by the number 747 bus that runs to York Railway Station from Pocklington. Around the corner we find a parish notice board. Mark off Murton folks, 11 down and 20 to go in the city of York. Next we have a pub, although you won't get a pint in this one. This signboard stands forlorn and empty outside what was the Murton Arms, formerly known as the Bay Horse and the Horse and Jockey. Its first recorded name was the Jerry, after the winner of the 1824 St Leger. The racing connections here are not coincidental. Murton was once a hotbed for the breeding and training of racehorses, thanks to Robert Ryedale. He amassed a fortune from gambling and owned a lot of land here in the 1800s. He lived in Murton Hall. So, pretty little village, isn't it? It's certainly got a bit of character, this one as well. There's a few obviously listed buildings around. I'm not sure if that's a dovecote behind that wall. It certainly looks like it should be, with a weather vane on top of it. We'll get a better view of that in a moment, because as we head down this road we come to a little pond which is just there, and then there's a footpath which runs around the back of it and runs across a field, so we should be able to see what that is, I think, in this next bit. Much like Holtby, this little pond carries on the water theme in this area of York. It's not quite as big as Weir Pond was, but it's still a nice little feature. Now we're crossing the fields to the east of the village on that footpath. Here I'm trying to point out that building we've just seen. I'm pretty sure it was a dovecote. Using this footpath means crossing quite a few of these stiles. I cannot tell you how much I hate these things. At least the views were nice to make up for it. The path brings us to Smarry Lane, a track which you can use to walk to Stamford Bridge Road if you so desired. We're going the other way to Murton Lane. The rest of this walk is residential. Murton's population grew substantially during the 1960s when new homes were built on Moor Lane and a large housing development was constructed at Murton Garth. More recently, the former Bluecoat Farm has been replaced with housing. The new street was simply named Bluecoat. Okay, the plan was to turn right here and head back towards the bus stop where that bus is currently going, and then that would have completed a circular walk of the village. However, if you turn left here, you can get to Murton Park. I was going to drive to this, but to be honest with you, it's within walking distance, so I may as well stay on my feet. Let's go and check it out. This is Murton Park, which is where you'll find the Yorkshire Museum of Farming, the only museum in the district specifically dedicated to the subject. It houses a collection relating to the social structure of rural life in the area. Events are held throughout the year here, which are related to rural and farming themes. Murton Park also has the last surviving stretch of the Derwent Valley Light Railway. It was used to transport soft fruit to markets, earning it the nickname the Blackberry Line. It ran between Layerthorpe on the outskirts of York to Cliff Common near Selby. It opened in two stages, in 1912 and 1913, and it was never nationalised. The line closed in 1981, but the part that remains reopened in 1993, and the station here was constructed using the original station buildings from Weldrake. The line now runs a mixture of 9 diesel locomotives on Sundays and bank holidays. In all, this has everything for a fabulous family day out. The industrial area to the south of Murton Park contains the York Auction Centre, formerly known as the York Livestock Centre. This is Yorkshire's leading independent multi-auction centre, and here you can get your hands on pretty much anything. It was founded in 1827 and moved to Murton in the 1970s. Originally it was a cattle market, and it was based on Paragon Street in York city centre for nearly 150 years. Market days in York were a sight to behold. 2,000 cattle and up to 5,000 sheep would be held in pens across the site, which sprawled along either side of Paragon Street. It's a bit more diverse here in Murton. These days it auctions off everything from livestock to farm machinery, and has an online presence too. It can get some really interesting lots. Just last year, an ex-RAF Tornado fuel pod went under the hammer here. This is the item in question, courtesy of their Facebook page. So of course this industrial estate that's opposite Murton Park was originally all part of the railway line. This road here into it, that would have been the track. You can see it carries on over the road, and that's where them railway cars are. And there you go, that is the Derwent Valley Light Railway and Murton Park. And that is pretty much it for Murton. All I've got to do here now is walk back up this road to the bus stop, turn left, and that'll take me back to the start. So a small place, but one loaded with quite a few interesting bits. And I would certainly love to take a ride on the Derwent Valley Light Railway. I'll tell you that for free. Okay, that is it for the parish of Murton. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.